All right, everybody, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition, the Pillow Talk stream. We do this every Monday through Thursday night, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I am Pugs Moran. Typically, I am joined by James Parker. Don't know where James Parker is. He should show up at any moment. This is the second of two streams that I do. Excuse me, still fighting a cold. The first stream, Monday through Friday at noon, high noon, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We call that high noon. And that's all about topics, current events, headlines, hot topics, trends, whatever it is that people are buzzing about. I give it to you every day at noon right here. And then we come back at 9 and we do this. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. All right. See, we're in this weird. Hi, Jeff. Jeff's here. John's here. Byron's here. We're in this weird, no man's land of the show where I'm waiting for James, but I don't know where he is. And I don't know if I should start something and then he'll pop in the middle and then I'll be like, I just burned that. I was going to talk about it, but now it's been burned. So, excuse me. Damn, folks, right? Like, what is going on with my head cold? This drip in the back of my throat. Oh, it is so irritating. Should we call him? All right, let's call him. Let's just call him. Hey, you don't show up for a show, you got to get a phone call. Calling James Parker to see where he is.
Hey there.
Where are you?
I'm sitting here at my desk. I was just lost track of time working on another project.
All right, connect. There he goes. That's James Parker. All right, he'll be along shortly. So now I'll just wait. So how are you? Are you good? What did you do this afternoon? Are you cold where you are? I'm cold here, as you can tell by the sweater. Got the heat going. Talking about the weather. That's right. I'm talking about the weather. I don't want to start anything. I don't want to start talking about something and then have James connect in and except where is he now? Did we not just talk to him? He's like, oh, I'm just sitting here, lost track of time, forgot to connect in. All he's got to do is hit a button. Got stuff we want to talk about too. Here's some of the stuff that I want to talk about. And specifically, I want to get into this with James. Are you guys following the World Cup? I don't follow the World Cup, although I have sort of this weird passing interest in soccer, but I think that might only have to do with Premier League soccer. Like, I don't care about German league or French or all that. I don't care about FIFA. And that's I guess what the World Cup is, right? The World Cup is like all the best professional soccer players representing their country of their origin, and it's that kind of thing. And here he is. See, this is why I didn't want to get into too much of the conversation. There he is, folks, ladies and gentlemen, James Parker. So, James, just out of the top here, I'm talking about something, and we'll invite you in as I've just began the conversation. I know you're a fan of soccer. And I know on a number of occasions here over the last couple of weeks, you've seemed to be chomping at the bit to get into a little bit of World Cup in Qatar or Qatar or whatever you want to call it, wherever it is this year. And I'm actually introducing that subject right now because, James, I have just finished within the last 3 days. I finished watching the new Netflix series, FIFA Uncovered, where they just go through all of it. It's a new 4-part docuseries. I got to imagine timed specifically for the start of the World Cup.
You watched all 4 already?
Yeah, I watched all 4. I started watching it on Monday night.
Than I do.
Well,
you tell me.
Nah, I bet you. Okay, so maybe we can help each other out here because, yeah, I do have the dirty details of the whole FIFA scandal, the multitudes of FIFA scandals.
A lot of them, aren't they? This is one of the worst organizations in the world.
Okay, so let's explain. Good. All right, you're on board. So this new Netflix series, FIFA Uncovered, just in time for the World Cup, kind of shows you who the people are who are putting on this global spectacle, the World Cup. And it truly is a global spectacle. It is bigger than anything. We have a bit of, what is that called, where we only see things through our
navel gazing.
Yeah, we've got a bit of navel gazing where we think the Super Bowl and the Oscars are a big deal. The World Cup dwarfs.
Right. Well, look, and it is a big deal for us when that 200 million people are going to watch the Super Bowl. Yeah. But like 2.5 billion people watched the last
Watch
World
the World
Cup.
Cup. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the World Cup is like so incredibly big. Just because it's not big, in your small town in Nebraska or wherever the hell it is you live, does not mean that this is something that should be paid attention to. It's a major organization. Now, what is the World Cup? Well, it's an international soccer tournament that occurs every 4 years. It is put on by an organization known as FIFA. FIFA, I don't, I just watched 4 hours of this damn thing in the past 3 days, and I don't know what FIFA stands for. Do you know what? Do you know what FIFA stands for?
Yeah,
I
Federation International Football Association,
Association.
but
Okay.
but in French.
Okay. Yeah, I could have gotten it. That's why the numbers seem out of place. Like for an acronym, it's a Federation of International.
International.
Right. We would say like it's the International Federation of Football, or no, the International Federation of Associated Football.
No,
So,
no, 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 no. We would say it's the International Soccer Association.
well, okay. But if we weren't trying to start a fist fight, we might. Okay. So FIFA is the organization, and FIFA, James. I thought before this, I knew FIFA was something, but I didn't know really what they were. I assumed that they had like day-to-day duties over stuff. They do not. The FIFA exists for one reason: for every couple of years to award a World Cup to another country. That's it. That's all they really do. They are a governing body, but not in the way that we think of the NFL as a governing body. We have the NFL with Peter, not Goodell. What's his name? Who's the commissioner of football? Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell.
So we've got the NFL, which is controlled by guys who actually own teams in the league, and then they are sort of shepherded by an elected commissioner, who is Roger Goodell. That is an organization that has everything to do with the sport of football in America, National Football League. That is not what FIFA does, because every country has their own NFL essentially.
And so this is the confederation of all the NFLs of all the countries of the world. And you're not going to be surprised to learn that for about 2/3 of planet Earth, the countries on planet Earth, are just corrupt hellholes. And
Yeah.
I don't mean that as an insult to the people of these countries.
We are a corrupt hellhole. So yes, the whole country, humanity has shown a penchant for corruption over the years.
Yeah,
So,
and it sort of has the same effect because it's really the UN of a sport, unlike any other sport, because no other sport is as popular. And so, just like as corrupt as the NFL is, like San Antonio is never going to get a franchise as long as Jerry Jones has his thumb on the scales. So like there's corruption. So imagine 200 million people watch the Super Bowl. The World Cup's probably going to be watched by 3 billion people this year. So this is probably about 6 times as corrupt as the NFL. Or no, wait, what would that be?
well,
15 times as corrupt as the NFL.
They're certainly more flagrant about their indiscretions and about how they operate. But also, and this is important, the NFL, again, is at least relevant 17 Sundays of the year when their teams play each other. FIFA is only relevant for 2 weeks every 4 years. That's the only time that the teams and the games that they oversee are actually played. I mean, they have friendlies and all kinds of little things, but those are very minor events compared to what they are. So essentially, if you were to watch this Netflix special, you would come away thinking FIFA is just a marketing organization for global soccer, and they market it putting on.
I'm so offended you're ignoring the Women's World Cup, which is such a
significant
and important moment in sporting on planet Earth. Anyway,
So,
you're right though. You're correct. I was just being mad.
and it's also run by these very high-end elite. The elitists, the Illuminati, basically, are the people who are running. Same dudes who have Illuminati cards sit on the executive council for FIFA. Okay, so just close your eyes and imagine what an Illuminati meeting looks like, and then it's the exact same thing for the FIFA executive council. Now, what does the executive council of FIFA do? Well, there's
blood or something.
What's that?
Drink baby's blood or something.
Yes, they do. Well, when they're not drinking baby's blood or trying to, clone Hitler. I don't know. I don't know what they do. When they're not doing that, what they do is they decide who gets the next World Cup. So now the World Cup is a very big deal. Very big deal. If your country gets awarded the World Cup, I mean, don't you remember a couple of years ago when the city of Dallas was falling all over itself because the FIFA members were in town back before they decided to give it to Qatar. Remember, America was like the favorite. Everyone thought America was going to get this 2022 World Cup, and then
Yeah,
out of nowhere it goes to Qatar. Well,
right. So, well, the closest comparison is when cities make a bid for the Olympics. However, the Olympics require all this ridiculous infrastructure, and every city that hosts it loses their ass, financially speaking, by
yeah,
hosting it far more than they gain. World Cup doesn't necessarily have that record. You know, Brazil probably lost money, but you know they fudged the official numbers. But you know, this is different because an entire country bids for a World Cup. And so, like,
well,
if
no. The distinction I was going to make, and it's the distinction that they make in this documentary series. When you talk about the Olympics, the bid process to acquire the Olympics from the International Olympic Committee is done at the state level. It is a state government bid. The United States of America goes after, or in their municipalities, their government municipalities go after the Olympics, not the World Cup, dude. The FIFA is not an international organization tied to any world government. It's just a private group of dudes who happen to own the rights to this major event every 4 years. And if you're a private rich, if you're like a Bulgarian drug dealer and you want to bring the World Cup to Bulgaria, all you got to do is wine and dine these dudes who don't have any attachment to any government. So it's not like you can, go, taxpayer dollars are being wasted. No, this is just
right,
a band of thieves gypsying themselves around the world, taking the highest bribes.
I am so Pugs, I am so happy you have watched this
Oh,
because
it's so fascinating how
so now,
corrupt this has been for 100 years and nobody has
right,
said anything.
because you're stumbling on like what soccer fans have just marveled at our entire awareness of this and how extremely just I don't know the word extrajudicial these people are. Because if you were going to say there was bribery or corruption, who the hell would bring charges? Who's going to go slap cups on them?
Exactly.
Nobody.
The public is
Nobody.
not being harmed because it's not a state action, because it's not a government entity. It's
And
yeah,
there's nothing to stop them ever.
but regardless of that, state governments get involved in the bribe process and stuff because the state governments all want the World Cup to come down there. According to this documentary, James, they corrupted Nelson Mandela into giving bribes so that South Africa could get the World Cup in 2008. They corrupted Nelson Mandela because he knew how important it would be for South Africa to be able to host the World Cup.
That was 2010.
2010, 20, maybe it was awarded in 28, whatever it was. Yeah. So the big issue with and why this is interesting today is because over the next couple of months, we're going to hear, or next couple of days and weeks, we're going to hear a whole lot about the Qatar World Cup 2022. It's starting in when? Like a week? Like a couple of weeks, right? It's December.
Sunday.
It starts Sunday. So here we go. So we're going to hear a lot about this. Now, James, let me share you this little story. So the executive council, who are the people who get, wined and dined around the globe in hopes of voting for that country to get their World Cup, the executive council was getting old. And this, I think, goes back to 2010. And they weren't going to be able to do this because the World Cup's only held every 4 years. And they looked around the table at all these old men and they went, you know what? We probably only got one more bidding process in us. Then we're probably going to be replaced by young people. So you know what they decided to do? For the first time ever, they decided to award 2 World Cups in one sitting instead of in 2010.
Yeah.
So like in 2008, they would award the 22, 18, 10, and 6. Okay, so like let's say in 2006 they would award the 2010 World Cup and they would all make money off of the bribery process. But they knew that they probably weren't going to be around because they were all old men. So they said in 2006, let's give it to 2010 and 2014. Like so they awarded 2 in a row for the first time ever so that they could double up on their bribes because they knew they weren't going to be there in 8 years to get the next big round of bribes. That's how fucking corrupt these people are, James. And nobody said anything. Everybody's like, well, that makes sense. Fat cats feed the trough.
Would say anything. There's nobody in a position to say anything.
No. No, well, here are the people. This is why word got out, and this is why there is some justice. I mean, they're all gone. All of the people at FIFA who are profiled in this documentary special and who are responsible for Qatar getting the World Cup this next week, they're all gone. With Seb Blatter, who was the president, he's long gone. All of his like top guys who were super corrupt, they're all gone. Dude, England. Wait, was it England? Wait, it was somebody. I think yes. Okay. No, it was America. It was America. So America was the favorite to be awarded the 2022 World Cup, the one that went to Qatar.
Yes. Yeah,
And no one could understand how they got all of these votes, and no one could understand how.
No, don't say that. Everyone, well, anyone who pays attention, we all knew they outbribed us. Damn, we got outbribed by.
Well, you know that after the fact, but based on the presentations, there was nobody even close to offering what the United States was offering in terms of putting on the World Cup. But the representative on the executive council from America, from CONCACAF, which is the Caribbean American North American Soccer League that's a part of it, the American representative from CONCACAF voted for Qatar over America.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Qatar ran away with it. It wasn't even a close vote. And they're like, wait a second. Why did well, here's why. Because the dude in charge of Qatar, which is one of these Qatar or whatever, is one of these giant oil chic billionaires. And he just gave everybody $2 million each. He bought votes for $2 million.
Yeah.
But I told you they gave away 2, right? They awarded 2. So the first one that they awarded on this really, really corrupt particular vote for World Cups was 2018, the last one. So they were awarding 2018 and 2022. 2018 was supposed to go to England. England had put the biggest bid together. They had David Beckham. They had Prince William.
Same thing that happened with Qatar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but 45 minutes earlier. This happened 45 minutes earlier in 2010. Instead of it going to England, who everybody thought it was going to, they gave it to Putin. They gave it to Russia. And everybody's like, wait a second. Really? How did they present it? And they didn't. The Russians didn't have anything. They didn't have the infrastructure. But again, these were the last tour of duty for this particular FIFA Executive Council. So they were just taking all the money. So Russia gets it in 2018. 45 minutes later, they come and do the vote for the one that's supposed to go to America, and they give it to Qatar. And everybody's like, what the fuck is going on here? How the hell? So we're going to do 2 consecutive World Cups in 2 countries that are in no way, shape, or form prepared to put on a World Cup. When we could have had England, which has more soccer stadiums than any other place in the world, or the United States, which could have provided the most. The United States had like an infrastructure thing where they're like, it'd be so easy to just do it in the different regions. Anyway, it's really fascinating. It's called FIFA Uncovered. And if you're even going to take a passing interest in this upcoming World Cup, if you watch this, you might take more than that, because I'm going to watch the World Cup now because I know how corrupt all these people are. And I just want to, and by the way, do you know thousands of people have died in Qatar building these stadiums because there's no hard hat laws. There's no nothing. They hired this Qatarian prince or sheik. He just hired a whole bunch of migrant workers from Nepal who are all undocumented. We're talking like tens of thousands of them. And they're all just living at the work sites, and they're falling off buildings, and they're being sent home in body bags. It's just a mess. And it's in Qatar, as it turns out, James, pretty corrupt government. Not exactly the kind of government that an organization such as FIFA should be dealing with. And yet here we are. So FIFA Uncovered, it's wonderful. 4 hours docuseries, 1 hour each episode.
It's got to be great. That's got to be great, because this comes on the heels of look in 2000 for the 2002 World Cup. Japan made a bid, and FIFA came back to them, and they were like, "You don't have the adequate infrastructure." And we're talking about a first world economy, Japan.
Yeah.
And
Japan's had the Olympics. They can handle the World Cup.
And so they said you can have it, but you're going to split it with South Korea. Cool, right? But they didn't do that for Russia, and they didn't do that for Qatar, who has nothing. They don't have like one stadium that can hold a World Cup event. No, we'll just build them all.
No, they needed 12 stadiums. The requirement from FIFA was that you had to have 12 modern, fully functional, X capacity stadiums. They had 2 in Qatar.
They had
So
2?
when
I
they
thought they had
got the
0.
deal, they had 2. They just promised to build the 9 more. And they did, but they're a little, as we talked about, I think on an earlier episode, there's a lot of balsa wood stadiums in Qatar that could collapse.
Bruh, this could be like the fire festival of World Cups where everyone shows up and the accommodations just aren't there.
It could be, but here's why I think it won't be. Because the dude at the top of this Qatarian sheik or whoever he is, I mean, dude, he's one of these $100 billion guys, right?
Yes.
He's all, and he seems to be very westernized. Like he was educated in America. He's got like a Boston accent. Seriously,
He's
he's
wearing
not
like
like
an Adidas jacket.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he was wearing the white, the white robes with the hat. He looked very, because he was in country.
Because when he
Yeah,
comes over here, he dresses normal.
when he comes over here, he probably puts on suits and all that stuff. But I think this dude is, at least on the surface, gonna make it look really nice. It's just, what we're gonna find out is that there are prisons underneath the stadiums where Nepalese day workers are being tortured for, whatever.
No, yeah, who is being tortured in prisons all across Qatar right now?
Hmm.
Our gay friends, our gay neighbors. It is illegal to be gay in Qatar.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great place to hold an international event as diverse as the World freaking Cup? And look, I tell you what, they came up with like one of the worst solutions about it ever, because the reason the Qatari government doesn't tolerate homosexuality is because they don't want to have that in their country. They don't want homosexuals doing their butt stuff and God's land. So they have sectioned off this sort of green zone where they are sticking all the homosexuals. It's like, well, if you were wanting to like discourage homosexual sex, would you make them all spend the night in the same complex?
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
What do you think you're gonna do over there?
You've just created like the coolest, most fun gay section of town Qatar has ever known.
Yeah, and they're like, listen, you can do whatever you want as long as you're in this little zone. But once you come out, you can't be holding hands or kissing or whatever, or we're going to enforce the law.
So it's going to be like an ecstasy rave. It's going to be, if you can do whatever you want, go ahead. Let's put all the gays. That's going to be where all the fun people are.
Well, for once, for the first time in my life, at least, and in your life, gays are just trying to get to Qatar really quick right now. This is going to be awesome.
Sounds fun. Yeah, I don't remember how the Russian World Cup went, but
it was okay. I expected it to be worse than it was, actually. So I'll give Russia a little bit of credit there. Cracking skulls. You want to get the stadium finish? I could send your whole family for 3 generations to Siberia. Now, what they're doing next, the next World Cup is going to be just weak sauce, total weak sauce. Instead of United States getting the World Cup we were supposed to get, that's supposed to happen this year, they cut us a deal and they said you can have the next World Cup.
Yeah, 2026, right?
Well, sort of, because United States. Yeah, we got to share it. United States hosted it in 1994, and they really don't let people repeat like that. They just don't. And so we have to share it with Canada and Mexico. And that
makes sense. We're North America. They're in our group. They're in CONCACAF. So that would be, that's fine by me.
Look, it's fine by me, but it's weak sauce. It's just like,
they got to spread it around.
Well, they know that
they got to be fair too, because they're under the microscope now after Qatar and Russia. They got to be fair.
That the United States, as big and rich and wealthy as we are, we're just not into soccer, and Mexico really, really is.
So is Canada. Canada's into soccer much more than we are because of their connection to England and France.
Yeah, but they do nothing in the World Cup.
No, but they have a very burgeoning soccer scene in their fans. Like, I think outside of the United Kingdom, Canada is the number 1 market for Premier League soccer. So, I mean, that's like they take Premier League soccer over there real serious in Canada. Steve Nash, right? Isn't Steve Nash considered like one of the greatest Canadian soccer players of all time? And that they were heartbroken when he said, "No, I'm going to go play basketball." Because they thought that
I didn't know he had a soccer background.
Oh, yeah. Steve Nash is like a soccer stud from Canada. He's on the national team and stuff. Yeah.
Had no idea. I think Gavin Rossdale was like a soccer stud too, wasn't he? Remember the Bush dude? Wasn't he a soccer guy?
Yeah, but isn't he English?
Close enough. Same thing.
England, Canada, whatever. Same thing. Yeah, hold on.
They all look the same to me.
Sorry, I'm having a little internet problem.
All right, so there was a question earlier. How is Wales and England a separate team? And this is something I
They're
can.
separate countries.
Well, not there. I mean, are they? See, the weird part is there's like they said in Ted Lasso, and he goes, "Where's he from? Wales." He goes, "Well, isn't that this country?" Well, yes and no. And he goes, "Well, how many countries are in this country?" And they said 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on how you define country, because really Wales isn't its own country. It's part of England. You know, it's like saying Texas is its own country and we should get our own team.
It's its own country. Scotland's its own country.
Not.
It's a part of the United Kingdom, but it's its own country. Yeah.
Well,
because they're all under the same king, but they have their own independent operating governments. The Cardiff is a major European center for trade. I just learned that because I didn't know where Cardiff was.
But the analog is if New Hampshire had a team in the World Cup. It's like, no, come on, stop it. You're not. I know you have your own little government that's under but it's still a subset of the larger government. They're still ruled by Parliament. They're still ruled by the Prime Minister. They still share a military with these other people. Speak the same damn language. Can't tell them apart.
They're culturally different. It's important to them. Yeah, you come from the homogenized. What do you call it? Bufu Egypt or Bumblefuck? What do you call where you're from?
Oh, Bug Tussle.
You come from like homogenized bug tussle where people's individual familiar culture means nothing. Over in that part of the world, yeah, you can live across the street from somebody and have a complete look exactly the same, pray to the same God, pay the same taxes to the same king, but you have a completely different culture. Wales and British culture is, I guess, similar from like a 10,000-foot view, but from the ground, no, they're different. Just like Irish culture is way different than English culture. Scottish culture is way different. They're just different. I know it's easy to just say they're the same, but they're very different.
Yeah, but we don't like within America give like Hispanics their own team. They're just part of America, right? Hey, this is the Black American soccer team. We don't do that.
Because America is one country. Those are different countries. They're
different ethnicities, maybe, that reside under this in the same country. But it's the same anyway. I can see both sides of the argument. I just think it's really dumb to split up the talent pool into Wales and Scotland and England and North Ireland. Play as the UK. Maybe you'll win something, damn it. Maybe you'll have at least a better chance. But I mean, Wales, what are you doing? You're not going to win anything as Wales. And I know it's nice to have your little national identity, just like it's cute when the Puerto Ricans show up at the basketball championships. But you know, you got some coattails you could ride over here, and you're just refusing to do it.
Here, I got something for you. You'll like this. Actually, I don't know if you like this because I haven't seen it. But this is a YouTube video. Steve Nash scoring in a soccer game. So let's see this. I'll kill the echo. So we'll just watch it. All right, I don't know what. Baller Sports. Come on. Oh, good. So we're gonna get good video of this.
All right. So it says Team Ronaldinho versus Team Roberto Carlos. That was good. Those guys were on the national team for Brazil, and they're having some sort of charity game. And it looks like Steve Nash was playing with them.
Yeah, he scores here.
Kept low. Oh, tiny in front. It's in. Steve Nash.
Well, all right. So he's going half speed, but apparently, yeah, no, he was quite the soccer player as a kid. He was like a really good Canadian, and they were all upset. There's a whole bunch of pictures of him playing soccer. They were very upset when he chose basketball.
So you're going to watch the World Cup, huh? Have you ever watched it before?
No, I've never watched it. I'll watch a little bit of it. I don't know what I'm looking at. I like Ted Lasso. I watched a number of those Premier League shows on Netflix. I've seen a couple of Premier League games this year. I guess I'm a fan of Man City. You're supposed to adopt a team, and that's the team that I've adopted. So yeah, I'll watch a little bit of it. I don't know any of the players. I don't really have a favorite. I guess America, right? Are we in it?
We better be. Yes, we're in it. Well, I can't say yes. We weren't in the last one, but we made it in this one. And
very confident for a guy who I don't ever remember watching American men play World Cup soccer before.
Right.
Women very good at World Cup soccer. Fan of women's World Cup soccer. I just well, here you go. It's an
Oh,
opportunity.
I can't. No.
An opportunity for me to become a fan of the men's team.
Well, come on with it. So the World Cup for the United States is kind of a mixed bag here, because the United States is in a group that has England, which they're
That ain't
amazing.
good. There, yeah, some of the best players in the world there. I know that from my Premier League watching.
Oh
Not
man,
only that, but England, for as small of a country as it is, I mean, well, they lay claim to inventing the sport, but also they have apparently the greatest training facilities in the world, England. Like if you're a 10-year-old who shows soccer skills, they send you to England. That's
Mhm.
that's where they make you live for the rest of your life.
Yeah, like there or Spain is the other place. So England. Here's the deal: there's 4 people in the group, and whoever goes, this is the group stage. The
All right.
top 2 teams from your group go to the knockout round. The final brackets.
Okay.
So England, damn. So we really just have to beat these other 2 people. Iran, which is doable.
Yeah.
We are better than Iran, and that's okay to say.
Oh, is it? Is it
Well,
okay?
no, like saying the Cowboys are better than the Packers.
Yeah,
You can't
sure.
say that. Yeah. Not after what happened this weekend. But no, the USA consistently is better than Iran. So
Yeah. Iran's not a power. England is.
and it's not like it's really close either. We consistently beat them, so that's not so bad. The other one I believe is is going to be Wales. There was a playoff, sort of like a play-in game they have for March Madness. That was Wales, Ukraine, and Scotland. This is so dumb, dude. It's like, first off, Scotland and Wales are the same country. Oh my god.
They're not the same country. They're in the United Kingdom, but they're not the same country. Moving on. You're just going to have to get over your bug tussle way of looking at the world.
If Hawaii can be just another state in America and it's just 1,000 miles drifting off in the Pacific Ocean, this country that only borders England, Wales, can probably safely be considered same country. Why not?
So you got a problem with like Latvia and Estonia being 2 different countries too? They're different countries.
They speak different languages.
Oh, God. Yeah, guess what? So do the Welsh. The Welsh
Yeah.
don't speak English.
Yeah, like 200,000 people speak the Welsh language. Most of them don't speak it. That's not a first language.
No, most of them speak both, but it is the national language. Same with when you go to Ireland, Gaelic is still the national language. So it's not just because, see, this is what you're missing. Why do you think they speak the same language? Because one group came in, oppressed the other group, and forced them to stop speaking their language because they were 2 different cultures.
Right, and so that's why they're the same country. You're making my point. Yeah, the English wouldn't have been owning them since Alfred the freaking Great. Okay, they're you're part of England.
The Welsh, the Scots, and the Irish are like Native American tribes. That's what they are. There's the exact same thing. They were living there. They were conquered by one other group who saw the world a certain way. And then all of a sudden their cultures were homogenized and erased. And the only thing they have left is their borders. And you want to take that away from them.
Ireland is its own country.
My part of Ireland is the good part, but tell that to my cousins in the north. They're not their own country. They're still under the Queen's thumb.
I don't know what to think about that because I have ancestors from both sides of that line. So who?
Well,
I don't know.
That's weird. That's weird. That would be a house divided because that would mean that you're both Protestant and Catholic, which is not common.
And English. I have that in there too. Like
Yeah.
Lincolnshire and
all kinds of messed up.
someone there is a Mexican because my grandfather was a Mexican. So
my ancestors apparently skipped over England completely and went straight from Normandy, France to Ireland. They no real history of my genetic line in England, but they started in St. Albans in France, which is in Normandy, and then they established St. Albans in Ireland. But no history of us ever stopping in England. They must have crossed over. They must have.
Jeff said, James, who's your Mexican club? Dude, I don't watch Mexican League.
What is that?
I mean, I'm aware some of them exist. I've been exposed to a lot of America. I've been exposed to a lot of Puma because some of my friends, way back when I lived in Dallas and I had to watch sports with my Mexican friends, that's what they watch. But I don't own like a America jersey or a Chivas Regal
Just
jersey.
go to like a racetrack any day and just hang out in front. Somebody will walk in. Some Mexican dude, some landscaper will walk in with some team jersey from Mexico. That's the
Oh,
extent
I
of my
know the
knowledge of
teams. I just
Mexican
don't have a
football.
preference. I mean, I like some of their jerseys. Cruz Azul has cool jerseys all the time, but I don't care. Don't care.
You're going a little deep for soccer for me. I mean, I'm pretty much Premier League or bust.
Yeah, and the soccer's not good enough to. Dude, I can't even keep up with all the 4 American sports. I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't even try with hockey anymore. I don't even care. I've completely left hockey behind about 10, 15 years ago.
And I miss it. I like keeping up with it. But look, Mexico does something really smart with their major league that I think we should try here in America. And that's they have 2 seasons a year. They have a fall season and a spring season. So and there's 2 champions a year. And between the seasons, they have a tournament with that all their clubs just go into, like a March Madness tournament. So these guys are constantly cranking out product. And if it's not soccer season there, it's almost soccer season.
Well, why does soccer in America suck so bad? Well, I think we've talked about this. We've talked because the talent doesn't get driven into soccer. The talent gets driven into the NBA and the NFL. So if you're a truly gifted 10-year-old athlete in America, you're probably not going to be scooped up and immediately, taken off to like the Colorado Training Center of the United States men's team, right? You're gonna probably go into some basketball lane or some NFL lane.
Yeah, well, and that works conversely too for all these other countries. If you're a great athlete, they're not only are you more likely to be scooped into soccer, there's nothing else. They don't have football, they don't have basketball the way we have it. The south of us to the South Pole, they have baseball. They care about baseball, but they don't really care about that in Europe much.
All right, Jeff's right. For soccer for an hour tonight, we don't need to do a full hour of soccer.
No.
James, you got anything? I got stuff. You got stuff. What do you got? Lay it on me.
Donald Trump's running for president.
Very low energy. Teleprompter Trump, very low energy. That was what I noticed last night.
You thought he was low energy?
Yeah, well, he was obviously given some marching orders by the people who are controlling him, and he was reading a teleprompter, and he can't control himself though. He went off script a couple of times. Like my favorite part was when he said, "Then Russia launched a missile 50 miles into Poland." It was 4 miles. Like he can't help himself. He cannot help himself because 50 miles sounds more deliberate, and that made his point better. So he just lied about the amount of He's yes, bring it on. It's gonna be fun. Let it happen. I don't give a shit. I don't think he's electable on a national level, so let him just distract through the primaries and do whatever he's gonna do.
So I think the more interesting question is, does Biden run again?
God, I hope not. Oh, Jesus. Seriously, both of these guys are like in their 80s, right? Or like, let's just say they win again. We're going to have we've never had a president that old. That is way too old. Both of these guys need to go away. I would like a president. I'd like a Gen X president. Let's get a guy in his 50s, right? Although here's the problem. Dudes in their 50s, James, they might be the most dangerous. Because they might be looking to make their big score. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who to trust anymore. I used to think the kindly old guy who's maybe at the end of his rope and trying to, take some good dues, something decent, some accomplishment to his deathbed with him. I always felt better about an old guy. But I don't know about that anymore. Old guys seem just as corrupt as young guys. I have no idea.
Well, old guys should be wiser. And I think the best argument for an older candidate is think about your sensibilities right now and how much you know about the world, and how much you've read about history, and how much you've seen and experienced, and how this is actually, the basis of wisdom, and how much smarter you are now than you were 10 years ago, especially 20 years ago, especially compared to when you were 18. And so is that trajectory going to stop, or are you going to be even more well-rounded and learned and wise 10 years from now?
Or as you get older, do you settle into ruts and you see the world in a way that you saw it when you were a specific age and you don't really come off that? You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing. Older
Don't do
are out of
that.
touch. Well, don't do that is easier said than done.
Sure. Yeah,
tell your father not to do that. Your dad's probably set in his ways. I mean, I don't know the man, but he probably is. Old guys get set in their ways. Joe Biden was still against pot like 2 years ago because he's an old man who had it bludgeoned into his head in the 80s that weed was the same of heroin, and he never came off that. Now, a younger man might be able to tell the, temperature of the room and realize not everybody thinks about pot the way 80-year-old Joe Biden does, right?
Yeah, right. But that's why you don't settle for the guy in your party that's close enough for you. Go find a guy that for the last 40 years he's been saying we should legalize pot. And there's not a whole lot of them that, there's like some Ron Paul type libertarian dudes out there. And there's probably someone on the other side of the aisle as well. But I don't know. I wish people would stick with that a little more and be a little more, demanding of their candidates.
I don't know. The political system's broke. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't know. Although Herschel Walker gave another amazing speech today where he just spent like 5 minutes talking about a vampire movie that he saw on TV. Did you see this? Did you happen to hear this?
No, I didn't see that.
All right, I'll play the audio because I don't know if we can play the video and the audio, because when we play the video and the audio,
we get copyright dinged.
No, it's not that we get copyright dinged. It's that we get like an echo. When I try to play the video, we get like a bad echo. So let me just play the audio and let's see if they'll tell us. But this is crazy. Look, if I could get this, I would vote for this man all day long. If this is what I could get on the Senate floor, please. All right. So Herschel Walker was giving a stump speech today, and it's fun, man. It's fun. So let's just give this a listen. And chat room, tell me if you can hear it or not. Tell me if this is like all echo.
At night, hoping it's gonna get better. Don't get better, but
you can already tell it's good, can't you? Here we go. Herschel Walker.
I want to tell you to keep the faith. Oh, you ever watch a stupid movie late at night, hoping it's gonna get better? Don't get better, but you keep watching it anyway. Because the other night, I was watching this movie. I was watching this movie called Freak Night, or some type of night, but it was about vampires. I don't know if you know vampires are cool people, are they not? But I'm gonna tell you something that I found out. A werewolf can kill a vampire. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I never knew that, so I didn't want to be a vampire anymore. I want to be a werewolf. But then anyway, as I'm watching this movie, and then you can tell how stupid it is because it's 1 a.m. So I'm watching my TV. These kids watching their TV, vampire kill on their TV. So you know it's kind of stupid, but I'm still watching though. As I'm watching this show, what was funny, these kids had a vampire in their attic at their house. So they was
okay. So do you understand what's going on here? He's in front of a crowd giving a political stump speech, and he's just breaking down Fright Night that he caught on late night TV the other night.
Yeah, I'm not really following that, but
Awesome.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
awesome.
Just trying to follow that.
Hold on, we're not done. He goes on.
watching their TV. Now I'm watching my TV as they watching their TV, or they see the vampire killer on their TV. So they win this contest to bring this actor. Now y'all got to stay with me. Bring this actor who's a vampire killer from that TV to get rid of this real life vampire in their attic. So as this actor comes to their home, he got all the right stuff. He got all the right stuff because, you got to have a stake and got to have a thing to kill him in the heart. And he got a necklace of garlic because that worked. I don't know what it does.
Come on. This is lunacy. This is a guy running for the all-important, I don't even know, is it a tiebreaker vote now or does it matter? I don't know. But whatever. This is a guy who is going to have a lot of big decisions to make. And he sounds fun. Like he sounds like he'd be a fun neighbor.
He sounds nice. He sounds well intended, but he sounds brain damaged. Like he took a lot of hits, dude. It happens. It's cool. I like it. I think that's what happened to Eli Manning. He kind of, Eli Manning's not 100% there. He's only like 80% there.
Let's he's wrapping this up. He ain't done. He's wrapping up.
I'm sorry. The riveting conclusion.
More of Herschel Walker talking about, at a stump speech, just a movie that he caught the other night.
Cross, because it burned. I know that worked. And then all of a sudden, this is what was so funny about it. As they're walking through the house, this guy got the holy water. He blessing the house, this actor. Now, he's all fake. He's blessing the house with this holy water. They walked upstairs, and this vampire looking real good in this black suit. Whoa, that sounds like Senator Warnock, doesn't it? Looking all good in this black suit.
Look at what he did. He brought it back around. He brought it back around. It was a long way to go, but that dude knew where he was going. He was describing vampires in order to get back to take a shot at Raphael Warnock. I got to applaud for that one. I thought he was going nowhere. Don't underestimate Herschel Walker. He's got a plan. He's crazy like a fox. But no, you're right. Absolute CTE. He's got something. He's got something going on.
And that doesn't mean he might win, because the guy in Pennsylvania that's kind of like, he won. And good for the voters, because I've always said it doesn't matter if you have like a 150 IQ guy that you're running against and the guy that you support's like an 80 IQ. It's his policies. It's what he wants to do when he gets in office. And that's what really matters. Doesn't matter if he just bumps into a wall like a Roomba, just walks around the place, just bumping into stuff.
Somebody who can't walk through a room without hitting the wall certainly has solid policies. What are you saying?
Even if it's by accident,
what are you saying? He doesn't have any policies. He's going to be told how to vote, and that's fine. People have been run.
But if he's told correctly, if he's told to go vote for policies that make this that make our society better, it's a Socratic argument. No. Look,
right? It's no, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, look, now.
No, I'm not saying, because look, I could be talking about Fetterman or Herschel Walker. It doesn't matter if they're brain damaged. What matters is the policy platforms that they're going to be voting for once they're put in office. So
what you're saying is what matters is that they're not men of a single mind. They're easily manipulated, and that's what you want. That's exactly what you're saying. That they'll vote whatever you tell them to, because they're easy to manipulate because they have brain damage.
No, see, the point is if you had a super intelligent guy, if you had a Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein, but he came in and he voted for policies that would not work, they would be less effective than the idiot's policies, then he would not be the good choice for your vote. He would not be the smart guy to vote for. It would be smarter to vote for the retard.
I don't think Herschel's the smart guy to vote for, but whatever. That's okay.
Then what about Fetterman then? Then use Fetterman. I'm just saying, get your damn politics out of it and look at the Socratic argument.
Yeah, I think that, I don't think there's any comparison between the medical emergency that Fetterman suffered recently and is recovering from, and the years of Herschel Walker was considered retarded at 18 years old, James. This isn't just a new thing. He graduated from college not being able to breathe.
Specifics of the guy. I'm saying the larger point is that even if your guy is brain damaged, if he agrees. If he agrees with your policy positions, he deserves your vote, even if he's brain damaged, over a guy who's not brain damaged and has 160 IQ.
I think we can do better than both of them. All right, so here's something that I wanted to mention though before we're out of time here. So this story keeps building. This FTX Bitcoin exchange that went under. Have you been following this? This is turning into quite the thing here. Today, lawsuits have been filed against a bunch of the celebrities who endorsed FTX. It's a class action lawsuit, James, was filed on Tuesday. It alleges that the crypto platform FTX and former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried violated Florida law, misled customers, and cost investors billions of dollars in damages. The lawsuit names some of the athletes and celebrities that promoted the platform, including Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady, supermodel Gisele Bündchen, Golden State Warriors guard Steph Curry, and businessman Kevin O'Leary. Also named in the suit is Larry David, who starred in a series of Super Bowl commercials for FTX. Now, James, do you know the commercials that I'm talking about? The Larry David Bitcoin commercials from last year?
No, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not picturing it in my head.
It was a Super Bowl commercial, and it was Larry David being pitched all of these things throughout history. Like he's a pharaoh, and there's a guy in front of him with a wheel, and he's like, I don't think it'll work. And then they jump like a whole bunch of years, and it's Gutenberg with the printing press, and he's like, I don't think it'll work. And then it jumps to modern times, and it's a guy pitching him FTX. And Larry David goes, I don't think it'll work. And I'm never wrong about this.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
He's being sued for literally going on television and telling people that he would not invest in this. Right? That's the whole bit, was that he's been wrong historically. And now look, Larry David doesn't believe in cryptocurrency. That was the whole premise. Don't be like Larry, I believe was the tagline. Don't be like Larry. So how now are they going to turn around and sue Larry David for, being a part of this whole thing when his entire role was to be the guy that was saying, yeah, this isn't going to work. I wouldn't invest my money in this. I mean, I get why Tom Brady, because he was like, I'm Tom Brady and I do everything right. Put your money in this.
Like
You know
he
what I
actually
mean?
said nice things about it.
Right. Yeah, I get
but
that.
I
Larry
always
David was
lost
not endorsing it.
God, look. Part of me wants to be a lawyer just so I can figure out what the hell these people are thinking, and then part of me never wants to be a lawyer because the legal profession has crap like this.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst, like most bile-inducing lawsuits I could possibly imagine, because there's not one person. I know you're not supposed to say there's never or always or never or talking absolutes, but I'm pretty sure there's not one person out there that went, oh shit, Steph Curry's not a fiduciary? Oh. Ah.
Giselle? Really? Yeah. It's
No one believes Larry David did any sort of going through a spreadsheet on their general ledger. No, these are actors in a commercial, dude. No,
right.
oh,
Paid to do endorsements.
and like
So
not one person has mistaken Tom Brady for a financial advisor. Hey, what's Tom Brady? You mean the financial advisor? No, the quarterback.
yeah,
He plays football too? Yeah.
the suit blames Bankman-Fried and the bevy of celebrities who promoted the company for the losses suffered by investors. Also named in the lawsuit, Larry David, the Curb Your Enthusiasm star who appeared in the Super Bowl commercials for FTX. The Golden State Warriors are also named. So it's not just Steph Curry. They're also naming the Golden State Warriors because he was wearing a Golden State Warriors uniform? I don't know.
Yeah, why don't you sue his mom for making him? How about that?
No, okay, so here it is. The Golden State Warriors are also named in the lawsuit after the team partnered with FTX this year and unveiled the company's this FTX. This is really, I mean, the more and more that I'm hearing about it, it's got shades of Enron. This is like the last time something that was this big and this hot and had this many and was this just overtly corrupt. Like this guy was. This is the fire festival of you said the 2022 World Cup is going to be the fire festival of World Cups. This is like the fire festival of the new monetary system.
Not to be contrarian, but this is a Bernie Madoff. This is straight up Bernie Madoff, because there was never a productive capacity to begin with, and at least for a long stretch of time, Enron was actually a real company producing a product. And
you're right. You know who's more like that? It would be the Elizabeth Holmes company.
Yes,
that would be more like a fire festival because she made promises that it was going to be great.
It never happened. They were never productive for 1 second. Yes, they never did anything for anybody. And but this was really a Ponzi scheme because he had a hedge fund that would invest in crypto assets, and then he started a crypto, and then he made a bunch of crypto and gave it to his hedge fund, and yeah, it was all funny money, and then he borrowed real money against that, and yeah, there you go, fun stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. It is, according to my clock, it is 58. That gives us 2 minutes. James, anything you want to promote? How's that Florida Man series going?
Yeah, Florida Stories, a new episode came out Sunday. Another one's coming out this coming Sunday. I'm filling in on KPRC Thursday and Friday, so I guess that's tomorrow and Friday from 2 to 4. It's on the iHeartRadio app, KPRC 950 in Houston.
There you go. We got some jacked up stuff going on with mansplaining this week. We may not be on this week. There's a situation at the studios, and they gotta like fumigate the studios. So we got some note today that said that nobody can be in the studios for a full week. And all the other shows will just go back to COVID measures where everybody has a remote box in their home. And so they'll just do the regular shows from their home. Well, we got to figure out how Schwartz and I are going to do it without the ability to take calls. I don't know. It's kind of messed up. So developing ... as they say. I'll let you know when we find out more. But
I got a brick if you need to borrow it.
I just, no, we need,
I don't know.
We'll see. All right, James. Thank you. There he goes. There goes James. You gonna come by tomorrow at noon? Come on by tomorrow at noon. The throat. What's going on with the throat? It'll be better tomorrow. It's not sore. The throat isn't sore. There's just like an endless parade of boogers. I guess that's called phlegm, cold, flu, head stuff. Anyway, it sounds nice and smooth now. Oh yeah, this is nice and smooth. This is good. There it goes. Now we got it again. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Tomorrow, high noon. Topics, current events, headlines, trends, whatever it is that's happening in the world. I'll give it to you tomorrow at noon, as we do every Monday through Friday, right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. Down the road I'll travel. All right, hold on, Jeff. Jeff Ballard would like to talk a little bit about Gangs of London. Gangs of London is like as a matter of fact, I am going to go in the other room immediately following this. I'm going to climb into the bed. I'm going to get under the covers. And I'm going to put on the final 2 episodes of season 1 of Gangs of London. Gangs of London on Prime. Fantastic. So glad. See, look at Jeff. Jeff and me, we're becoming little TV watching buddies. This is like the second show now that we've connected on. Gangs of London is awesome. It's kind of like The Sopranos, but set in London, concerns all the different organized crime factions that have to try and get along and do business together in modern day London. Oh, is it fun? Gangs of London on Prime. I'm going to go watch. Bye, everybody.